All right, y'all. Episode number 2. Can we get started? Oh, it's gonna be a whole bunch of little stuff on here that's not as professional as some of the other stuff, but I don't care. It's mine. I can do whatever I want. So I want to thank y'all for coming here and hanging with me for the few moments that I have that are mine. Y'all could be anywhere, but y'all chose to be here with me. So let's get into this Ain't What You Want. Today, I actually want to kind of talk about relationships, but in a different sense, because as a man, I only know what I know from what I know. If you know, you know. Outside of that, I really want to talk to a woman and see what it's like out here for them, because I know I got dudes all the time who talk about how hard it is out here for them to date and all this other kind of stuff. And I figured I'd bring on a lady to kind of sit here and really have a conversation and tell us what it's really like, at least for her, from her point of view. Hopefully you can pick up some pointers, get some tips out of this, make some things right, improve your own game. If nothing else, get your hustle up, stop being, corny. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to talk about dating. Please, if y'all would, put your comments in, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to try to get to them and read them and see everything we can. And so I have the one and only from Hannah's Playhouse, Hannah herself.
Hey, y'all.
Come on up to the mic now.
Oh, they can hear me? I know they can hear me. Anyways, I'm Hannah from Hannah's Playhouse, your favorite doll. I'm here with Jamar.
Hey, don't be saying my whole
we're gonna
name. Somebody might know me.
I call everybody their government
I
name.
might know somebody out there who
I don't care what the streets call you. I'm calling you what your mama named you. So I'm here, and we're going to talk about whatever it is Jamar want to talk about.
So, all right. So what's your take on the dating scene? Because I would jump into it. On this show, on my show, I go right into it. We don't have all this time for all this extra stuff. If you want to see all that stuff, I may do some behind the scenes stuff.
All
but
right,
now,
well, just a full disclosure, I am not the normal woman of our time. I'm not, even of the past times. I have a different mindset than a lot of girls in our age. And you'll see what I mean. So yeah, just to let y'all know, I'm not like everybody else. Not every girl can act the way that I act and do what I do and get away with it. So let's just start there. But
let's be honest though, when it's all said and done, you're a young black woman. Except you have a job, you have all this stuff that people always want. You're pretty, you do all that stuff that everybody swear up and down they want. So you may not see yourself as normal, but you may be aspirational to a lot of people. And that's why we want to that's why I picked you. That's why I want to talk to you. So forget what everybody else is. Let's talk about you.
Okay.
All right. So you being who you are, like, what is it like right now in this dating world? Is it a desert? Is it a jungle? I mean, what is it? Middle of the ocean? What's happening?
I think it's a jungle. I think it's really crazy. Dating right now is very insane. There are so many different points of views. There are so many different type of people. People were raised differently. People have different mindsets. There's no standard in how dating should go anymore because everyone's so different. And everyone's raised so differently and have different mindsets. And I think it's a jungle. Like, you don't know who you're going to deal with and what their morals are, what their standards are, and how it's going to affect you until you're in it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
it's all over the place.
But does that make it more exciting, or is that more of a... Because it's like, how people always talk about, I'm going to just use movies as an example. We all want to see the greatest movies ever, but sometimes we have a whole lot of fun talking about that crappy, trashy movie.
Right.
So is it actually fun being that it's a jungle out there, or is it just really more stressful than anything else?
I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for. If you're out there just mingling around and you're just trying to get to know people and you don't want anything serious, it's fun. It's fun as hell. It's actually a ball. You can have your way, do what you want, that's when it's really, really fun. But if you want something serious, that's when it starts becoming a desert. Because we're in a very unserious time in dating in general. And I think that's just what it is. So
what is your take on like the dating apps and all that kind of stuff? Like, do you jump on Bumble, Tinder? Show I don't know. All right, Tinder,
right, don't even know what it is.
Or what's the Hinge and all that kind of
Hell
stuff.
No, I personally don't do dating apps. The only time I
go ahead.
The only time I did dating apps was not to date. It was not looking for a man to be with. It was looking for a man to sponsor me. Okay. So I was looking for tricks, honey. That's where they be at. But I don't do dating apps seriously. I don't. No, hell no. I've never done that. I've never gone on a dating app, met up with someone because I genuinely just wanted someone. Like, fuck. Hell no. I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous. So? I'm scared. Scared.
But you meet somebody at Whole Foods or wherever else can be dangerous. You don't know that person? I'd rather
meet someone in person because then you can kind of like genuinely see how they are, like, or feel,
see how they look,
get a vibe, see how they look. I'm big on appearances. I am, and I hate to sound shallow, but I am. Like, I'm not dealing with nobody that's ugly. So, or ugly, like if they're ugly to me, they might be fine to somebody else, but they ugly to me. But I'd rather see someone in person, meet someone like a genuine attraction. Those are just always the best stories. Like, I hate like when people are like, oh, how'd you meet so-and-so? Oh, on Bumble, on Tinder.
But I don't know. Do you think that kind of, I mean, yes, we know people lie on there. So you have to weed through all of the, but do you think that kind of helps though? Some people who may not be as open and social as you are. Like, you're not scared.
Well, that's just on them. Like that really is just on them.
And what's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
All right. So in all transparency, I don't know. Right. I don't care. But I know that's important to a lot of people. So if you are into that kind of stuff and you're on there and you see that this person has whatever the, I don't know, qualities and traits are, or if they're a Gemini and you're like, oh, I can't do Gemini people or all that kind of stuff.
That's too much. Oh, but okay. No, I don't need all that. Like, I like to be in person because, I don't know, this is going to sound corny as hell, but I've had a lot of like revelations when I'm talking to someone in person by looking at them in their face or looking at their eyes or how they react to certain things I say. That's how I know if they're for me, if they're not for me. So I don't like I'm not doing the dating apps and stuff like that. I can't get that. I need to know these things before we actually go on our next date or our first date. So I like to meet people in person.
I expect that. I mean, I will always attribute a lot of stuff back to the business world. It's so much better when you can walk in and see somebody as opposed to trying to talk to somebody with a phone or something. And I know it's not exactly apples to apples, but you know what I'm saying? But it's like when you're, all right, I have to go over here and provide a service or go do something. I'd rather I can see you. Right. I can see your reactions. I can even see if you standoffish, don't feel like being bothered right now.
Right.
It makes it a whole lot easier to be like, you know what? I can already tell you're closed off right now. I'm not getting ready to waste our time.
Right.
Because it's not only, fellas, and you should learn this one here, it's not only wasting her time, you wasting your time too.
Your own time.
Like
I'm big on wasting time. Like, I don't like wasting my own time. I really couldn't care about anybody else's. But I'm big on not wasting my time. So we need to get to the nitty gritty.
So what is it then? All right. So would you knock a person who was on social media? I mean, excuse me, not social media, but on dating apps. And then what's the difference between that and social media?
Like if somebody like met someone on dating apps, I mean, that's on them. If that's how you meet people, that's on you. I'm very social, so I could talk to anybody in any setting in person. That's my thing. I like to do stuff in person.
So no sliding in your DMs is what you're saying.
Now, hold on, because I done had some of the best interactions when they slid in my DMs, and I actually gave them a chance. Now, it's kind of hard because it's like, if you slide in my DMs, I don't know, I'll probably group you with the rest of these niggas, bro. Like, I don't know. I just kind of, you in my DMs talking just like everybody else. Like, what makes you different? What sets you apart? You know what I mean? So that's when it's kind of hard because it's like, I mean, you do meet people through social media, but a lot of times now people have been following me for like ever, like years, and then they'll see me in person, and that's when they shoot they shot. Because they're like, I already know your DMs be flooded, so I wanted to see you in person. Like, they see me out somewhere, and they're like, this is my chance. And that's just it. That's all. And that's fine. And I actually like that more. I'm like, oh, they've been following me, but they was waiting to see me. Like, you know, like, right. I like that. It makes me feel special.
Yeah.
Like, so you saw me in person, recognized me from Instagram, even though you've been following me, and you're not in my DMs yet, and I like that.
And plus, also, let's be honest, you know, Instagram, the filters and the fakes, and you see people and they posting up here with all this other stuff on, and you thinking that that's how they look, and they get there.
I don't have anything to say about.
No, but there's a
People
difference.
using
No, there's a
filters
difference
and
between
Facetune
slight
and-
enhancements. There's a
Right.
difference.
Right.
But you see them in person and they're
Right.
like, hold on, you were born in what year? 1900 and what? Like, finish the rest. Like, is it
Yeah.
a 7? Is it a, is it an 8
yeah,
next?
yeah. They
What
don't
is
know.
it? And then all of a sudden, but because I hear from women and they talk about these dudes, all his pictures, the camera's way down here. He's 6'3" and stuff. He talking big game, and then you meet him and he 3'6".
Well, yeah, they'll
know?
be looking a mess. And a lot of people catfish. People can catfish you in person. So that's why I'm like, I don't even care about Instagram filters, none of that. Because people can actually catfish you in person. There are men that will have a hat on. And it's not about them being bald. It's about how you look when you're bald. Do you look good when you're bald? Do you look a mess when you're bald? And a lot of times they wear hats and they look a mess once they take it off, but you haven't ever seen them with it off until y'all get in that bed. So that's when it's like,
No, that's when you turn it around like, oh, no. You just, I don't know. I can't say that I'm bald headed. And when my hair grows back, I tell everybody, my edge up is shaped like the Whataburger symbol.
but
And
when
tell
I
people,
met, like, that's the
"Oh,
thing,
like-"
like, I've always seen you bald. So it's
Yeah.
no catfishing. It's
Yeah,
no
nah.
catfishing. He looks the way he does.
So fellas, stop lying. They gonna see through it. And I guess it would be the equivalent for men, take a woman swimming, take all that stuff off and see if she really look like that.
yeah.
Kind of.
But
the
that's
same.
dumb. Because we have setting sprays now that where I can jump in a
You can
I can jump in a pool and come out and my face still intact. So now what? What you finna do now?
I don't know. That's not my area, so I'm staying out of it. I'm grown. I'm old.
I hear people say that though, like talking about some take her swimming first
old.
date. Okay,
I told you I'm old.
we have new products.
Oh, we're gonna establish the fact that here on This Ain't What You Want, I am old and I'm proud of it. And when I say old, I don't mean old as in like my body breaking down old. I'm
Yeah.
just saying I'm old and I don't have to change and adhere to none of the societal norms.
Right.
So, which will lead me to that then. How do you feel about the societal norms of how it is for dating? I mean, especially as a black woman.
It's a lot. I think that black women that strictly date black men go through a lot. And I think it's because people look at us and think that we need to, in order to have our fairy tale ending, we have to struggle with a man and prove ourselves to a man before we get it. And that's annoying as hell because even our first meet, it's like, oh, what do you bring to the table? Now, I've dated a lot of races, okay? And when I've been on dates with anything other than black men, nobody's asking that. Those men do not care. They do not care about what you bring to the table. They don't care about, oh, do you have your own job? Oh, do you contribute to the bills? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you cook? Do you clean? They don't care about none of that. They don't give a fuck because that's not what they're looking for a woman for. That's not a woman's only role to a man. And I think that when it comes to black men,
I gonna say it because I'm gonna have a rant.
It's hard. And I love black men. That's mostly what I'm dating. I'm with, and I can't deal with the whole. I feel like black women deserve like to go through life, go through a romance where it's a fairy tale. We don't have to get cheated on 10 times, stay down, and now he can marry us. Or, oh, I lost my job and I'm broke as hell and you got to pay the bills for the rest of the year. But that's how I know you're my wife. No, I shouldn't have to go through any of that. I shouldn't have to struggle. I shouldn't be having to be treated like crap or be talked to like crap. I shouldn't have to be there with you when you go through your phase of, oh, I hate this woman, just because to get a ring at the end and get the title of wife.
So I'm gonna stop you there. I do have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is more to blame for this? Is this Disney movies, Tyler Perry movies, or the whole Hotep Dr. Umar type? Who do you think?
I honestly think we're going to leave Dr. Umar out of it because I love Dr. Umar.
No, all right. So just so we're
think
clear,
that
I don't have a like or dislike to him because people are nuanced and complicated. There's some stuff he do I do not like and others I do.
Right.
But what I'm saying is there's a lot of people who they look for ways to reaffirm whatever bias they have. And he gives a lot of ignorant throwed off people a reason to affirm that said bias. You follow what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and so they'll come up here with some BS to you because they heard Dr. Umar said it.
But if you really listen to Dr. Umar and how he talks about black women and how marriage and dating should go,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't think that we should struggle in that.
I know, but you know these people are not hearing it. That's what I'm saying. They're not listening to the whole story.
He really doesn't think that we should go through anything with that, honestly. Like, he thinks it should be, I mean, like, Disney movies, even them girls had to struggle a little bit, and I don't even like that.
You got to find the frog.
Okay.
You got to fall in love with the frog. You
like,
gotta,
kissing frogs.
Or the beast. Or
to get to the end. No. Being with a beast who literally was so mean to her at the beginning. Like, till he fell in love. I mean, that's Stockholm Syndrome. He had her trapped in a cage and then decided to bring her out and was screaming at her when she was scared of him. Like, that's not, no. I don't even think Disney movies should be the standard, I don't know who to blame. I just think I want to blame the men, obviously, but I also want to blame the women that accept it because that makes the men think it's okay. Mm-hmm. You need to raise your standards 100 times more. The first time that man mess up, that's it. I'm not about to sit here and stay down for the come up just so I can get a damn ring, a piece of metal and diamond and silver. Like, I'm not staying down for that.
All right, so I was trying to refrain from going on one of my rants, but it's gonna happen. It's my show. I can do that. All right. So let me preface this by saying I do, whether it's bad or not, I do feel like a lot of times a woman is considered good, and you may have heard me say this. A woman is considered good by her just being a woman and putting up with stuff, and a man is considered a man based on what he sacrifices. And I think that's a huge problem because therefore you have men who think a woman's role is just to cook and clean, wash clothes and stuff like that. Chores. All right, you're a good wife because you do chores.
Right.
But the man is a good man. Right. And especially if I have a few dollars, I can Uber Eats, I can do whatever I want. I don't need, you don't have to provide any of the stuff for the household. I can do that. Plus, as an adult, you should be able to do that on your own regardless, man or woman. But then men are always considered, the only way they're considered to be good is by uplifting and removing boundaries or whatever restrictions from around a woman while sacrificing themselves. Like if it's, oh, he's a good man because he starved and gave them food. Yeah, that's an admirable thing.
That's also traumatizing.
But parents will do that to their children too. You know what I'm saying? Like a best friend will do that. If he know that, look, I got something at home, man, go ahead and eat, man. I know you struggling right. Like, but you're considered good as a man based on how you struggle. Right. Do you think because of how that is, whether people recognize that or it's an internalized thing, that's what ends up happening? They think that because they was watching Tyler Perry movies or Disney movies or whatever else, that you need to go through this so I can show you that I can be able to be the man and take care of you. So I can bring home the bacon and I can go out here and work. I'm out here hustling all day.
Yeah. I think that's Tyler Perry needs to be locked up. But I think that is what it is. Like, it's almost like a generational trauma in our mind that we feel like we got to go through struggle, be rescued in order to know, like, oh, this is our person. Yeah. And vice versa. Like, rescue somebody because of whatever the hell we think we're supposed to be doing. And, oh, we're supposed to be together. This is love. That's not love. Well,
also, I'm a firm believer that people have no idea what most words mean. They just say them because that's what they are. I mean, let's be honest with you. When you talk about love, like love is an action. Love is more than just that feeling you get. You can have that feeling for a puppy. Does it mean that you're going to sacrifice your life for that puppy? Some people will. We know that. Some people love an animal. They will do more for an animal before they will ever do for a human. But what I'm saying is you can feel that way about a car. Right. You can feel that way about a lot of stuff. That chemical change that happens can happen to a lot of things. Yeah. Love is about an action though. Like love is much more, it's much deeper. And it's also, even when I do not like you, I will still be this way. Yes. Right.
When I don't have to.
And I think that's where a lot of folks mess up is because they tie love and like, and then they tie that to an item. Like, you love me because you bought me flowers. or you love me because, and you take me to the best restaurants, you bought me gifts.
Right.
And then men do it too. Like, oh, she loves me because she does whatever I want sexually.
That's stupid.
You know what I'm saying? So
Because a prostitute could do the same thing. Do you love her?
probably more.
Same thing with a woman. A man could take you. A sugar daddy could take you something. Do you love him?
So do you think that that's how do I put it? How do you overcome that if you're out here dating, knowing that you're going through this jungle when all these dudes out here with all these views? How do you go about this and picking and being able to select? And or is it just really, the word I hate?
What you see.
I hate the word vibe because everybody overuse it.
Yeah, vibe is ugly.
But do you just go by the feeling that you have?
If I get along with someone, I hate vibe. That's so ugly.
Yeah.
But if I get along with someone and we have a connection and we get along very well, we have great banter, we have great conversation. Like, if the feeling is there and the aura is there where we're just comfortable with each other, then yeah, like that's cool. Now, a lot of men reveal themselves by running their mouth too much. So I don't have to worry about like, oh, somebody deceived me. No. Sometimes men just talk themselves into like getting out of my face. That's what it is. So I don't have that concern. I don't be scared of nothing. I know exactly who I'm getting as soon as I talk to them. Because men talk too much. They run their mouth too much. They don't know how to shut up. Especially when it comes to somebody that's like, a girl that they're like really into, really want to get to, they gonna run their mouth too much. And they gonna mess it up for themselves. And I'm like, oh, that's how I know who you are. That's enough.
All right. So like we got some comments in. So like, what's a good way of saying this? So how do you know that when you're dating, like something is too much? Like what if a person like, Qtopia put on here facts. Even in some places, people's songs, F all your free time. You don't need no you don't need no me time. That's you and me time.
That's you and me time. That's my song.
I knew you of all the people you would. So yes. How does that work then? I mean, if you're dating, but then there's these unfair, I'm gonna use the word unfair. That's what we're gonna say. We're gonna say unfair rules and regulations that are put on stuff. But then you have this, it's in the music, it's in the everything.
I think that people should not take music seriously because
that is the soundtrack of our lives.
For real relationships, you know that it's not fuck all your free time. You don't need no me time. That's you and me time. You know that man need to go out. You don't want to be in his face that much either. So like that's just a thing. Like that's like the song by Jeanette. Speaking of Jhené Aiko and Summer Walker, I'll Kill You. Like that whole song was intense. And it's just like nobody acts like that for real. It's just kind of like I just want to be like that. Like that's how much I like you. That's how much I want to be with you. But I'm not going to actually keep someone from like their free time. Like go do you.
Well, and I think that's an important thing because all right, so when I was out here wilding in the streets and all that kind of stuff, that was very important to me. Like, I always thought that a woman, just like a man, I've never dated a man, so I can't comment on that. But I'm just saying, as a man, you need to have a hobby. You gotta have something that you do, something that interests you.
You have to be your own individual
Correct.
person.
And I don't have to be a tag along for everything. So if you like to do art and you make art and all that kind of stuff, I don't need to sit in there with you every day while you do that. Now, when you have a show, I'm coming to your show.
Support.
Right. But while you in there and you with your girls and y'all do this, you with your girls and a few guys that I know that all do that. I'm secure enough in my manhood. I'm not going to be sitting up there, I'm not going to do all that stuff.
Right.
But now it seems like, especially with social media, because again, I'm old. I ain't have to worry about so much of it.
Old.
Shut your face, okay? I ain't have to worry about as much of it. But it's like, how do you now be able to keep those kind of borders and you're dating somebody, not taking up too much of their time, but realize that they're trying to just be everything to you all real fast, like love bombing, like stuff like that. Are those red flags to you, or
honestly, love bombing is not a red flag to me because I never know when it's happening because I'm so used to people liking me so quickly and so much that they always want to be with me. They always want to do stuff for me, and they always want to be in my face and my business. So I don't know when love bombing is happening. That's just me. I'd be like, of course they're acting like that. And my friends be like, girl, you don't think that's crazy? Well, how else they supposed to act? Like it's me. So, but I think that when you're with the right person, though, on a serious note, like when you're with the right person, it's nothing to figure out.
Right.
If you're an individual and they're an individual, y'all have your time together. Y'all also have your time apart. Y'all have your own friend groups. Sometimes your friend groups can come together. Sometimes they do not. And that's just what it is. It's like, I don't feel like that's something y'all have to discuss when you're with the right person.
Right.
Now, when you're with someone that's like maybe a little insecure or somebody that does like to love bomb or wants all your attention, controlling and wants you all the time, those are red flags for sure. Like, there's no boundaries and you shouldn't even have to do that with them, honestly.
Right.
Honestly, because the people that I date and have dated, when it's the right person, I've never had a problem. Now, when it's somebody that's thrown the hell off, I know I gotta go. Because, baby, I have my own life. I'm outside with my friends. I'm young and turned. And I'm having a good time. And you could do that too. And I trust you and you should trust me.
Right.
So there should be none of that rah-rah bullcrap. No, I don't need all that.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. I take this as a badge of honor because I didn't realize it was as bad as what it was out there. But I have never had a bad ex. Like, I never had no one try to bust windows on my car. I've had women I've had two stalkers, but they were not, they didn't even really stalk me. They stalked whoever I was with, which is just as bad, but still.
Oh, okay. Well,
but, you know, they were like,
that.
Yeah. So, but it was like the one person I can say was kind of, we weren't dating. You know, it wasn't a us thing. And when I saw that she was kind of a little off, I was like, this ain't going to work. I'm dropping you back off. Like, hey, because I feel like you're going to cost me money.
Right.
When I start feeling like you're either going to cost me time, which is jail, or money, I don't need to be around you.
Right.
That's just me. And I think maybe a lot of guys, and look, I was at that point too, so I'm projecting slightly, but I think a lot of guys, because we get blinded by someone that's cute, someone is new, someone is fine, someone is smart, someone is funny, or whatever else, that we ignore all of those little things that could possibly be bad. I could have had a bad ex, but I haven't. So what have you learned from dating about not only about the other person, but about yourself? Like, what have you learned about you while I hear, you know, being young and turned? Youngin'. No.
I am a youngin'. Thank God.
Yeah.
But
keep going to sleep at night and waking up. You're going to be my age. Yeah.
I've learned, oh God, I've actually learned some things about like having better discernment. Because, you know, it's like I have a standard. Like, well, I have standards, as a lot of women should. But I know who I am. I know how I look. I know what I bring personality-wise, you know, physically-wise, all that stuff. All these things. I know these things that I contribute to any man that speaks to me or talks to me or deals with me in any way. And I've learned that sometimes when they meet all the criteria that I have and the requirements and the standards, that doesn't always mean they're a good person. So, like, I like someone that can wine and dine me, caters to me, literally does whatever I say. Like, I like someone that just do what I say. Just shut up and do what I say. And we'll work out perfectly fine. But I've also learned that those same men have a lot of things that are fucking wrong with them. And I'll be so into them because I'm like, oh my God, like, this is everything I want. Like, they got money. They do this. They take care of me. They're so kind to me. They're a great person. Then I find something out and I'm like, what the hell? Like, like, now what? Now what do we do? So I feel like everything that glitters is not gold. That's like a big lesson that's a big lesson I learned. Everything that glitters is not gold. And so I'm so used to like, oh, somebody come around, he fly, he fine, he got money, he treats me well. He does everything he's supposed to do towards me. But then when I find certain things out or he says certain things that give me a clue to how he is, to other people, not to me. I don't. We have nothing to talk about. Absolutely not. And I've also learned, and I said this on my show, that like a lot of people are boring as hell. And they try to make up for it with money and gifts and trips and dates. And I'm just like, you're actually a boring person, though. I wish somebody else was here. Like, what the fuck? Like, if people are boring, it ain't gonna work. It's like, no matter how much money's involved, because I've been dealing with some very, 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 very rich men.
Mm-hmm.
And they, not all of them though, because some of them were really, really cool, but a lot of them fucking yawn fest. Like, I couldn't deal with it.
Well, I mean, all right. So I'd step in here for the fellas as well too, because there are a lot of women who think their whole life is to be pretty. There's a whole bunch of people whose whole life it is to be pretty.
Right.
And they're absolutely boring and lame and lazy in every other way. So, and there are a lot of guys who think that the only thing they have is money. That's what you're supposed to, that's the lure out there.
They have
there.
no personality.
So they have never had to develop anything else. Or they see you as an object only. And if you're an object, then I can walk into Best Buy and buy something. Now I'm talking to you, I'm buying you, right?
Right.
So I need you to just come be here.
Which sometimes
but there are a lot of women.
Nothing wrong with that.
If that's what if the dynamic is that, then there you go.
Yeah.
But just know that anytime, and this is not chastising because I don't, but anytime a man, I'll speak from a man's point of view, sees something as an object, it will feel like it can control and also dispose of it whenever it wants.
Right.
It wants to use that
Absolutely.
object. So if it sees you as a car, then it's going to be a car. As a matter of fact, how about you tell one of your...
No, keep going.
You got to
Nope.
tell
go
a
ahead.
dating story.
A dating story? Oh my God. Craziest dating story is actually insane. Oh my God, y'all. Actually, no, that exposes me. Let me not do that one day. I was finna tell myself, y'all got me messed up. I'm too P for that. Let me think. Craziest dating story. I don't know if I have any crazy ones. Because I'm usually the one that's crazy. I don't want to expose myself. Oh, okay. Let me think. Okay. I got one, y'all. And this, oh my God. I think this is like the one bad date I've ever had in my entire life. Because usually my dates go really good. Like, I do my research on people before I meet up with them, okay? So there was this guy, and we had all met bar hopping one night. And it was a bunch of him and his friends, me and my friends. And he was super handsome, like definitely my little type on paper. And so he had hit me up and we had been talking like separately and stuff. And he was like, I want to take you out. I'm like, okay, of course. Like, cause when we met him and his friends, they were all really, really cool. So I was like, I'm not scared of this man. Like, I met him in person. Everything's cool. We go out. We go out to this really, really cute place in Houston. And it was a wine bar and it was super nice. And we had like a cheese board and everything. Y'all know I love cheese. I'm a little rat. So I'm just like, this is perfect already, whatever. And he looked good and like everything was going fine. He starts running his mouth and he starts talking. And when he speaks, he's the complete opposite of me when it comes to views. And he's talking about homeschooling his future kids. And he's talking about how the school system is just effed up and teachers don't know what they're talking about. And he's talking about,
all in the first?
Yeah. And he's talking about the government and how he wants to just go into hiding. And when I give him my views, he's like bashing LGBTQ plus and bashing women's feminism. Like, and it's just, I was sitting there like, there's no way this is happening right now. Like, what the hell? So I gave him my points of views. Because one thing about me, like, I don't care what situation I'm in. I don't care who there with me. I'm by myself. I'm going to give my opinion. And I'm going to tell you that you're wrong, you're effed up, and you're weird. And that's what I did. He handled it okay, I guess. And then he told me, when the date was over, they bring the check, he pays or whatever, And he's like, let's take a walk. Mind you, we're in the middle of like nowhere. And it's like in the slums, kind of, because you know, like them cool restaurants be in the middle of like butt fuck
In the hood, yeah.
Yeah, so
The pores.
yes, he's like, let's walk around. So we're walking, and I was nervous as hell. I had texted all my friends, and I was like, I think I really made him mad. Like, because even his reaction to some of the stuff I was saying was like, what? Like, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna kill me.
He thought he was gonna kill you.
He's literally gonna use me as a message. Like, I knew it. I just knew it. I knew it. And we were walking. My heart's just thumping. I had already texted my friends. They got my location. And so they're like, let me know, like, what, and I had my pocket knife in my purse. And I was like, I am so scared that he is going to do something to me. Like, he's going to do something to me. It's going to be over. That's going to be it. And then I had cut it short. And I was like, I really need to get home. Like, you know, I got work in the morning. And he was like, okay, like, I'll walk you to your car. He walked me to my car. I was just so relieved. But I was so freaking scared. Like, I was like, oh my God, my mouth is going to get me killed. Like, this is the end.
So, all right. So views. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about also about this here, because I understand it's a tricky little thing, you know, like when do you want to find out what, so you don't waste a whole lot of time. But is that a big thing right now? Because, you know, our social media algorithms will lie to us and make us believe that everything is that one thing we keep seeing. Mm-hmm. Is it really out here where all these dudes out here wilding like that, where they, you know, they need you to be a trad wife, they want you to be, they want, so it is that bad out there.
It is.
I just don't understand, and I'm trying. Maybe I'm gonna have to have one of the guys on here. I know a couple guys who talk like that, but I always figured that's just that guy. And I need to, because I have some questions. Like, I really want to know, like, what is it that you think you gain by having a grown adult child you can have sex with? Because that's what it feels like to me.
Right.
That's what it feels like. If I need a woman, I can control every aspect of it, and you have to, no opinion, no thoughts, no whatever else, and that's considered you being a woman in the position, in place. I see that as a problem.
I tell people all the time that men, especially insecure men, which there are a lot of, crave power. And they like to control something or someone. They do it with their wives. They do it with their girlfriends. They do it with their kids. Mm-hmm. They like to control things and people when they don't have control anywhere else. So I think it's always insecure men. But then I also, like, sometimes I contradict myself, because when they're like, oh, like, a guy doesn't want a girl that does this, this, and this. And I'm like, shut up. Like, men really don't care. When you really deal with a man and you act the way I act, they do not care. They do not care about none of that. They are going to accept you and do whatever the hell you say. But that is also very rare. Because there are still times when, even with those men that try to do whatever I say and try to, like, get on my good side, they still have a very warped way of thinking when they talk outside of me. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's their way of keeping power. I don't know. But it is very bad out here.
So do you think part of that also is, I don't want to use social media as a catch-all, but just blaming that. They've configured their view based on what they continuously see, and they hear a few good, because it's like, all right, for any good conspiracy theory, it's always a little truth in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's the beauty of it, because it's like, maybe those are chemtrails in the sky. Like, tell me more. And all of a sudden you start realizing, like, hold on a second now. Okay, so did y'all not consider condensation? Like, you know, you can do that outside with a freaking kite, right?
Right.
Explain that to me.
Right.
But they can't do that. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, the whole thing fell apart now.
Right.
So do you think a lot of this is these guys have nothing else to say or do, because that's the only little bit that they've heard, because there's a little piece of truth in there. Like, and I'll give you an example. Mm-hmm. So there's a video I saw earlier, and I get what they were trying to do. I do. It was an admirable thing they were trying to do. The video was about the woman was like, I'm not doing none of this stuff here because I'm just a girlfriend. And so he was like, so you're not cooking, you're not cleaning, you're not doing nothing? He was like, no, that's for a wife. You make me a wife, then that's what I'll do. And so he says to her, which again, the premise I understand. I agree in theory. The vacuum, 100% right. Says, why do you like me? And she was like, because you're, amazing guy. I love you. You do this. You provide. He says, yes, because I'm a husband. I'm just not your husband yet, but I'm presenting as a husband. So you want me to present as a husband for you, but you can't present as a wife until. And at that moment, it threw me off slightly because, again, maybe it was just a bad example. They were limited in vocabulary. And I've told you this before. I think you probably intimidate a lot of guys because you're very well spoken. And a lot of folks don't like an intelligent speaking person. They want somebody to quote lyrics all day. All right. But in that video, the first thing I said was, wait, are you saying that a woman's job, a wife's role is solely to do chores? And so people started jumping. It was like, well, and all this other conversation, I was like, no, this is an important question. Because if you're looking at a woman and the only thing you see as wifely
cook and clean
is cooking and cleaning, again, like we said earlier, I can get Uber Eats, I can get DoorDash. I'm a great cook. I'll go in the kitchen in a minute. I'm an excellent cook. So what is it that you believe, think, or understand a wife to be? And I just didn't get it, and I think that's where I kind of get stuck at with some of this stuff and looking at all y'all people, y'all young folks trying to date and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, if this is what y'all got to deal with, there's a problem.
It is a problem. And that's exactly what we have to deal with.
Is that a stereotype that you is?
Yes. But that's what be happening. That I mean, even I went through that with someone I never thought I would have to go through that with, where they tried to make me feel and project and feel inadequate because of I don't cook. If everybody know me, I don't cook shit. I'm not cooking shit. I'm not interested in. I don't even want to be in the kitchen unless I like to clean though. But I'm not doing, and I also have the same standard. If I'm your girlfriend, I'm going to be your girlfriend. When you make me a wife, then I'll be a wife. That's it and that's all. How do you expect me to be something I've never been? So if I'm a girlfriend, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a girlfriend and that's it. I'm not going to sit here and do whatever you want me to do, because the thing is like, I think there is a difference in men and women in our mindsets. And I think that when women are looking for a husband, we're serious. We know what we want. We know we want a provider. We want someone that's a protector. We know what we want. So men, show us that. And that's when we're like, okay, this is going to be the person for me. Men do not have that. If a woman is cooking and cleaning from him, he can have 3 other bitches do it too. And he's still just having his way. He having a ball. He's not looking like, oh, I'm going to marry her. Like, this is who I want because she's cooking and cleaning. No. He will still jump to the next girl. Period, point blank. So I'm not going to give and do this more than what I'm capable of or more than what I should do just to prove something to you, just for you to jump to the next bitch that's doing it too. I'm not doing that. Absolutely not.
So do you think that do you think you may become jaded with how the dating pool is, to where you may pass up on guys who are, who may be a little rough around the edges, or who may, I don't want to say dabble in a little bit on it, but they walk in that line on a few little items, but really for the most part, they're good. But because of the dating history and because of what's out there, you kind of miss out on on that person.
I don't miss out on nothing. That's what I mean. If it was for me,
I don't give me no easy cop-out answer.
If it was for me, then it would be happening. I don't think I miss out on anything. They did not stop making good men when they made you. Okay, if I missed out, whatever little baby said. It was something about women, but we gonna change it to men. They did not stop making good men when they made you. You're not the only good man out here. And it's like, if I missed out on you, oh well, there's like 50 million other ones I'll encounter.
Hey, I tell people, I actually just had to tell a friend this here, homeboy this. I said, look, America alone got 374 million people. And you got to subtract 290 of them million, because those are kids and women. I mean, and men, because he's not. I said, so you still got 140 million people to choose from.
Right. It's too many people on the planet.
It's up to you at that point if you want to stick here. But I think what also happens is people get caught up in their own little bubble. They start to, all right, If all you think of is hookah and brunch, guess what? You're going to see the same 12 people. Don't turn the chair around.
Clocked me. Clocked me.
If all you think of is hookah and brunch, you're going to run across the same people who
I love brunch. And when the hookah right there next to the Mimosa Tower. Clocked me.
But guess what? And if you go to the same 3 places, because that's
you're
the
gonna
only
meet the
thing
same 3 people.
So then,
yeah.
But when somebody say, "Hey, all right, I know you like hookah, they ain't got none there, all right, but you can go with your girls and do all that stuff later on." And so, but I'm gonna take you to this other brunch place that's on the other side. It's a little bit different though. This one here is a Mexican brunch, or this is whatever. Like, how do you allow yourself to be open for that kind of stuff?
Well, if you want to meet, I think Houston's really good for this because you can meet the same 10 people every time you go out if you go to the certain places. But if you want to meet something that's out of what your norm, but out of like what you want, like we know where to go to get the rich men that like to pamper their women. We know where to go to have a good time and get paid for. But we also know where to go if we want to be left the hell alone because we might cost too much. Like, leave us the hell alone. Like, there are different places all over Houston where you can get all types of men and all types of potential men, boyfriends, husbands, whatever the hell. I think that it's just about branching out. And I also do tell people, like, I tell my friends that all the time, like, you crying over this one man thinking he your soulmate when it's like 8 billion people on the planet. You could literally go find your husband somewhere else. You need to start traveling, do something. He could be anywhere. You can't think this is your only soulmate. There's no way. Absolutely not. But if you want to meet a certain type of man, if you want to decide to raise your standards one day, you got to go to different little places. There's so many different places. And I'm not going to name them because I don't give my game out for free. But I will say, like, there are so many places. You just have to branch out. Right. If you go to the same little spot, like you said, you're going to see the same people. And you're going to deal with the same type of men.
I try to tell guys, I even tell women this all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go to the dog pound, you're bound to find a dog.
Right.
So if you're in the same spots always and then be up here complaining, it's either you or where you're going. It's either you or your selection. And so because we're going to start to wrap this up because, want to go ahead and I want to take up all your time from going out here and dating. So, no. But what are some of the things, especially, like, again, we talked about black woman out here dating. You've dated interracial. Mm-hmm. Is there really a big difference between, besides the part you talked about not asking what they bring to the table, is there anything else? And would you advise sisters to go out here and explore a little bit more?
Baby, date outside your race. I mean, I love black men. Like, that is who I'm attracted to, number one, top tier. Like, when it comes to the first thing I look at in a room, it's a black man. But if it's not working for you, date outside your race. It is not the same as when, and people gonna try to bash me for this. I really don't care. When a black man dates outside his race, there's something wrong. I do think that there can be love there, but it's very rare that it is. I think that men have agendas when they do certain things, and they have self-hatred when they do certain things. And they also want to sit up and, oh, well, I'm with a white woman because black women, blah, blah, blah. Why do you have to bash us to love your bitch? Don't be bashing me.
I agree.
Now, when black women are dating outside their race, you rarely ever hear I still to this day have not heard a black woman saying, like, oh, I'm with a white man because black men piss me off and they act like this and they do this.
I got to push back on you one time because Candace Owens out here.
Okay, well, Candace Owens is not black. Candace Owens is a white woman.
I will say this one here, though. I have to step up and protect some of the guys who do date interracially. And I'm really talking about white. I'm talking about mostly when they date white.
Right.
Because I think it's very different when they date Hispanic or Asian, something like that, Filipino or whatever else. Because I think that there's still a understanding of struggle and minority difference and everything.
Because they're still a person of color.
Right. But when they go to a white person, there are some people that's just all that's around. They like the same stuff. They like the same nerdy stuff.
Somewhere else.
They like, yeah. Well, people say, I'm tired of people coming to Houston. We need to get people out of here. Don't come here.
No, so we got a lot of diversity in Houston.
I know, but Houston is very different from a lot of places.
Yeah.
And so if you go to college, you're going to college in one of these small hick towns.
And you still young.
The
You don't
best
need to date nobody.
But no, the best colleges are always in some little small backwoods town, and the only black people who are there are the athletes. Outside of that, who is everybody else there?
But whatever.
All white folks. And again, so I think that there can be love with a lot of them. I think where it comes down to it, you're right. If a person has to down someone else,
right,
you're 100% right. Them people are clowns, and their goofies need to be somewhere else.
That's like when you be out minding your black woman business, and you see a interracial couple, and it's a black man with a white woman. Why did he be looking at you like he did something wrong?
Because he wanted if you gonna say something. He
avoid eye contact. He
wanted if you gonna say something.
That's how I know your intentions are not right. Because why are you looking like you did something wrong? Did you?
You're embarrassed.
No, exactly. What you embarrassed for?
But some people,
if you love her, what you embarrassed for?
And I'm not. Just so we know, I'm not capable for neither one.
Let me tell you something. When I went out with the white men, I was talking to. When I went out with the white men, I wasn't embarrassed about shit. Because I still love my black men, and I still love it being black. I still love it here. So anybody looking, I don't give a damn. Boo. What you looking at? Hello. Like what? No.
So
absolutely not.
So a misconception then that you would have is sisters need to go outside.
They should. I think y'all should. Honestly, there is a difference. There is a difference. They're raised differently too. A lot of times, and I'm gonna put y'all in some tea because I went to like suburban schools, white schools. This is what I've learned, and I'm still friends with some, rarely any, of the white girls I grew up with, and this is what they are taught. They're taught a lot different from black women. Black women, we're taught like to be a wife, you got to go through struggle. You got to hold a man down. You got to cook. You got to clean. You got to basically be his mama and his girl all in one. White women are taught to get who you can to get where you want to get. And that is how they get married so quickly. They have these children so quickly. They divorce pretty quickly. And then they move on to the next rich man. They are selfish with them. They put themselves first. They think about their lives first. We don't do that. We're taught to think of someone else before us. Mm-hmm. And it's sick and twisted, and we should not be taught that. We need to be doing what these white women doing. Because when you get with a man, and I'm going to stick to white, because I don't know about them Spanish people, okay? But we'll stick to white. These white men appreciate being with a black woman so much because they're not used to the women in their race sacrificing for them, putting themselves second to them. Like, they're not used to that. They're used to a woman who puts herself first. If he goes down bad, let's say you could be dating this rich man and he loses out on a company, he loses some money. The white woman gonna leave, okay? She's like, oh, you're no good here now. Your money's no good here now. I'm going to the next big thing. But they sit up and they'll tell you, like, I've never dealt with a woman, like when it comes to black women, who love the way that y'all do. And they appreciate it 100 times more. And so that's why I say, go ahead, date outside your race. Date where you're appreciated. And that's it and that's all. Period.
I will say this one thing. I have heard that. I have friends who are white who are married to black folks. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I have friends who are sisters who do date outside.
Don't trust every white man, though.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
say all that now.
There's a lot of fetishization out there, but it's also the same thing with black men. There's a lot of people who fetishize black men, Asian women, Hispanic folks, all kinds. So you have it already. It's already hard enough as a black person being in these spots dealing with people anyway. And that's in the workplace, that's everywhere. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to it, I tend to want to ask the question as to when it comes to interracial, is it more intercultural or is it just the race? Because I try to tell people, you need to find someone who's culturally relevant to you. Right. Because I promise you, there are black folks who are against you 150%, and they'll be this Molly head who don't know nothing about nothing, blonde-haired white chick who'll be like, just tell me what I need to do, and they will do whatever it is to be part of your cause. And
I don't like that too much.
But remember, MLK said Malcolm X said his one regret was when the white students came to him and asked what could he do, what could they do to help? And he says that my way. He was like, he should have used them. They have access that he would not ever never have. So sometimes do we blind ourselves by saying I need to be with somebody black who's against me as opposed to someone who's white? Because let's be real. How do we treat? We all know Chick-fil-A take care of your food, right? Give you good service, right? And we all know McDonald's suck. You go to McDonald's and get cold fries, you be mad, and you'll go right back to McDonald's the next day. You go to one black restaurant, one time they didn't bring you your biscuit, and you want to say, this is why I don't go to black business. This is why I don't do all. And some people don't want to deal with that,
right.
This unfair cultural take on it. So my suggestion or my little small mini rant is go for people who are culturally like you and don't look at just the color of their skin. Because come on, black folks will break it down. Oh, light skin versus dark skin. And this is not a knock against blacks because I love black. Black is beautiful in all shades. I do not care. If I am a thigh man, I don't care if it's the color of this mouse thing to the color of the screen on his phone. I like thighs. You know, as a man, that's just how I am. But find people who are equally yoked to you, culturally,
right.
systemically, who is not going to be in the way. Do you, in kind of wrapping this up, how do you feel about when it comes to actually going out here and settling down for the long term? Could you marry someone who is not black?
Yes. If they meet my standards and they treat me the way I need and want to be treated, I can marry them and be completely happy. Period, point blank. If they understand me to the level that they can, because they will never understand you. No matter how much you sit there and drill them or show them whatever videos, they can watch Roots all motherfucking day. They're not going to understand you until, they'll never understand you. That's something you have to accept though. I think that's the only way it would work, is if I could accept they're never going to understand me. Mm-hmm. When we go in certain places, we are perceived two different types. We're two different people. But even dealing with that with a black man, because black women are like the most hated in America. So I could go in a room and he'll still get more respect than me because he's a man.
Right.
Okay. So either way, you have to be accepting. So as long as you can accept the fact that they'll never understand what you're going through, and when you're feeling a certain type of way about things, they're not going to 100% be as angry as you. But if they can be there or try to make it easier, that's all you can ask them to do, honestly.
Right. Well, some people are pushing back a little bit on your thing about white women. I know they're trying to be funny, but one of them says, white women stayed with Jeff Goldblum and he turned into a fly. You're probably too young to know that reference. It's a movie. Jeff Goldblum this movie is called The Fly. He turned into a fly.
Baby, you too old for me. I don't know what that means.
And then Robin Williams got his white wife back by portraying an old white lady.
Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, you know that one. You know them the same time, right?
I love Mrs. Doubtfire.
Those are the same time.
Okay, but who
era.
watching somebody turn into a fly?
I
like Robin Williams. But, yeah, he did. Yeah.
So, all right. So, anyway, let's get on back to all right. So, I got one more question for you. All right.
Oh, God.
I promise this is going to be good. I'm not that guy. So I'm feeling like you on your trusty handy dandy tablet. And now I got my phones out here because I said I was going to write this one down. But you know what? Get it. This ain't what you want. I'm going to do it off the top of the head. All right. So one, I do want to ask you, what about a support system? How is it with dating with friends? Like, do you have a good support system? And I know I'm not talking about like just your best friends. They're going to support you regardless, so they're going to be honest with you. But I'm saying like as far as when it comes to getting out here and dating and seeing your best interests and you having their best interests, do you have that support system with you?
I think so. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes if I'm dating certain people or whatever and certain friends have an opinion and I'm like, girl, you don't know what the hell you talking about because look at what the hell you be accepting. You can't tell me shit. But that's my opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't have to accept what you say. But I think we have a good support system. Like, we're able to tell each other about who we're dating, where we're going, how they treat us, conversations we have. And it's an open space for us to give our own opinions and vice versa. Like, I give my opinion when my friends come to me about who they're dating, what they've been dealing with them, whatever the case may be. And they know I can be kind of harsh sometimes, but they still will come to me about stuff because I'm gonna be real with them. And I'm gonna be real with them. And that's all that matters. Like I have a good support system because I like people that are real with me. I like people that, they gon' because the thing is, like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna let my friends do what they do, and they gonna let me do what I do because we all grown. But don't say I didn't tell you when the shit go wrong.
Right.
Now, when you come back and you're like, oh, girl, he said this and he did this. And I'm like, well, bitch, I told you he was gonna do that. Like, then we can have our little, like, look, okay, like, I definitely told you that. Like, what the hell? But we have a pretty open space for us to talk about things and, like, be there for each other. And if they say something and I'm like, why he say that? That's weird. Like, that's weird. I don't think that's right. Like, whatever,
So do you do the test and make a dude read before you can find out if he's real? Because, I think we need to do more of that. I'm all for making people read. Make a woman read. Hey, I want to make sure you can read. Read this real quick. I don't have my glasses on. Tell me what that says over there. Let's see if they can actually read, because I think that tell you a whole lot.
I think when you date a certain caliber of man, I don't think.
So
I think the reading goes into it.
So reading's not important. So
like,
they can't read.
No. Reading is important, but I just feel like if you own businesses, how the fuck you not reading the contracts and they successful? Like, you have to know how to read. Like,
you say that, but how come businesses is so many people who fail, so many people who got other people, or they got a father who gave it to them?
I mean, if they got a father that gave it to them, that means you must have been to some good schools. You can read. You can read. You can read. You can read.
Well, how that is funny. So, all right, what's some misconception you want to clear up then? Dating a black woman. So if you got people out there who want to approach someone like you, what's the misconception? And then
I don't want to clear up nothing.
All right, there it is.
Whatever you believe is what you believe. Leave that lady alone so she can find somebody better. The end. That's it.
All right. Well, my final question is, if you could just wave a wand, like if it was a perfect dating situation, change the whole dating world, what would you do? Like, you in control for 48 hours for the next 2 days. Everything I say and everything I do is going to be 100% perfect. It's going to work out for everybody. What you going to do?
Women to the front, men to the back. Women, write a list of your demands. Men, come from the back and do what they say or stay your ass back there. That's it and that's all. That's it and that is all. Okay?
All right, then. Yes, they read some of the comments.
These comments are hilarious. You need a new friend, Hannah. No. I'm black, but I date white women. Good for you, baby. Good for you, Larry. I'm proud of you.
All right. So, well, let's go ahead and close this out then. All right. On this Ain't What You Want, I always like to kind of leave with a little something. Fellas, I'm going to just say it like it is. One, you need to grow up. You need to stop being a goofy. Just go up here. If you see a woman that you're interested in, have your game together. Just walk up and say hi. Just start there. Just start off by just saying hi. She'll let you know right then and there if she's pulling off or she's doing all this other stuff. Just say, hey, I don't mean to bother you. I'm sorry. I'm going to go on about my day. If you have a card, say, hey, look, if you happen to be, leave a card. She either going to throw it away, she going to pick her teeth with it, or she going to set a drink on it. But at least you know you did everything you were supposed to do. And then move around. Don't waste your time. Value yourself enough to where you can step up and be like, okay, I'm not finna go out here and play on the field that nobody wants you to play on. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna go enjoy myself, and I'm gonna go out here and have me a good time and find a person for me. Don't get blinded solely by how pretty they are, because it's a whole bunch of pretty crazy people out here too. And I'm not saying go find ugly, but that does not mean go out here and start trying to find you, something that you're not attracted to. But remember, you're not attracted to everybody also. So we need you to go ahead and actually be better. Listen to these women. All right. They're trying to tell you, a woman will tell you every single way that she will date you, every single way that you could have sex with her, and every single way that you can walk out of her life. She's going to give you all the stuff if you just listen. So do that. And I like to thank you all for watching another episode. This ain't what you want. Yes, I had to do it all by myself again. I want to thank Hannah's Playhouse, for coming on. I knew she was gonna try to do that. It won't do it.
I wanted to do it. Oh.
And any last things you want to say? Give the people your socials and where they can find you.
I'm Hannah. Make sure you follow me at my main page, Hannah Nell, and my show page, Everyone's Favorite Doll. There's no underscores, none of that. Just type it in and I'll be there. Make sure you tune into my show, Hannah's Playhouse, on Trio TV. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Bye. Till next time. See y'all next week.